Hey guys, what's up? It's Sam and welcome to my channel. So I filmed this really peachy look I think is great for summer. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. I started by priming off my face with the Kat Von D primer, and I absolutely love this primer. It feels just like a moisturizer. It's one of my favorites. And then I do use the Becca shimmering perfector. This is the shade Opal, and the camera does not do it justice. In person, you're like a golden tin man. It's one of my favorite things ever. And then I mixed two foundations in together, the Too Faced Born This Way foundation and the NYX Total Control drops. So when I originally had in mind for this look was a very light foundation look, super glowy skin, but I ended up mixing way too much foundation on the back of my hand, so that kind of went out the door. So I ended up blending. I didn't want my foundation to go to waste, so I did put on a lot more foundation than I had originally expected to. So the brush that I'm using is a Real Techniques brush. It's called the buffing brush. This is the first time I've ever used it for foundation, and I do really like it. I'm pretty sure it's now one of my favorite ways to apply my foundation. So I do take that down my neck. Also, because I had so much foundation left over, I thought, why not? But I just put that on my eyelids as well to cover any discoloration on my eyeballs. And yeah, as you can see, that's a lot of foundation left over. Next, I use the Pro Concealer. I believe it's by LA Girl. And it just tooted all over my mirror. And I use that to contour and kind of bronze up my face. This is the shade Chestnut. And this was my first time using this product, and I was not prepared for how pigmented and so little of it goes such a long way. Like, my face says it all. I was not prepared whatsoever. So I just blended that out with a stippling brush just as much as I could. There are some parts where I do go in with my finger a little bit just to kind of help with the blending process, but I don't think it really helped at all. So I blended basically until my arm felt like it was gonna fall off. But if you ain't blending until you're hurting, you ain't doing it right. So and honestly, I'm pretty sure it is just the color that I picked. But as I was blending it out right here, I was like, what did I get myself into? It looks like doo-doo. Look at that. It doesn't look that bad on camera, but in person, when I was looking at the viewfinder, I was like, this is not gonna look good at all. But it ended up coming together either way. So after I blended that out with the stippling brush, just with whatever was left over on my foundation brush, I tap over that contour shade just a little bit, and that did help a lot. So if you ever decide to use this product, just be warned that a lot of it goes a long way. I'm sorry, a little bit of it goes a long way, and be prepared to blend for your life. And for that same, with that same concealer, I do try to contour my nose with it a little bit. Now, this was the first time I ever cream contoured my nose, and I thought I used a good amount of it. Like, I told myself, don't go in too heavy handed with it, but even that was still a lot of product. So I used I believe this is a Wet n Wild concealer brush, and I basically just dragged that down to the side of my nose, just to kind of get that perfect drag queen looking contoured nose. This is the most contoured my nose has ever been in my entire existence. Like, it was so snatched, I could barely breathe. Look at that. Like, it's a little button nose. Look at how cute. So again, I just try to blend that out with my foundation brush because I could barely breathe and your girl needed some oxygen before she passed out. And then after that is blended out, I go in with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer just in the usual spots that I apply it in. And then I did have another Pro Concealer. I thought when I bought this, I thought that it was white, like pure white. But when I opened it and I was applying it, I noticed that it had like specks of sparkle in it. And then I read the name of the actual shade and it's called Highlight. Duh, I don't know why I didn't read that before. But I decided to roll with it anyway and I apply it with my concealer and boy did it brighten that up. Like, I've never had my under eyes so bright before in my life. I don't know if it's maybe because I use too much. I'm not sure. But I have always wanted a white concealer to brighten up my under eyes a bit more. And yeah, I did not expect that at all. It was a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. But at the end, it did look, it did get better. It didn't look as crazy as it does now. I did even add some more concealer on top, just a dab, just to kind of tone it down a little bit. But I'll be honest, that did not help whatsoever. I feel like it still looked bright. And then I did take my foundation brush and just tapped over it just a tad bit, again, just to kind of blend it out together. Make sure there's no harsh lines between that and my actual foundation. And then just to melt all those cream products together, I take my Milani Make It Dewy setting spray, and I just spray that all over my face. And then taking my handy dandy foundation brush, I tap that all over my skin just to make sure those cream products melt in together all as one. And then I set my face using my Too Faced Ethereal Powder and my my sponge is making an appearance here. Look at how dirty it is. Actually, you can't tell on camera, but in person, it's so ratchet and gross. It needs to be in the garbage ASAP as soon as I can get a new one. But I'm basically just setting everywhere I put the concealer and also my smile lines because I do crease there like no one's business. It's horrible. And after that sets for a little bit, I do my eyebrows off camera. And once I'm done with my eyebrows, I just wipe all that powder away. And whatever is left, I just use that to set the rest of my face. And after that, I go in with the Pop Beauty bronzer. I'm not exactly sure what this shade is called, but I use what brush is this? It's from Wet n Wild, but I can't remember if it's a powder brush or if it said bronzer brush on it. There's no names on the actual Wet n Wild brushes. They come in the package with the names, so I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I just use that brush to bronze up my face. And then for my nose, I go in with a cooler tone contour. This is actually the shade Fawn from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and on a smaller brush I just go over the exact spots we went in with the cream contouring shade, just to kind of go over that cream a little bit more, just to set it a little bit. And then after that, I kind of had an idea to put that bronzer all over my face. So just basically in the spots where you would get kind of like sunburn, like think if you were out in the sun for a long time and you just get sunburn right in the area where the sun hits the most. That's basically where I applied that bronzer shade on. And then I use the BH Cosmetics. This is the blush and shadow palette, and I mixed these two shades in together. And again, I kind of put that in the same spots that I put the bronzing shade on or at. Again, just for a more sun-kissed and sunburny. I don't know why you would want that, but that's the kind of thing that I had going on at the time. And then I mixed these two shades from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I use that to highlight my cheekbones and my nose, my super snatched nose, and also my Cupid's bow. And then I put a little teeny tiny bit on my chin, just a teeny tiny bit. After that, I again spray my face with that setting spray, just because now I do want the powders to kind of set in together, and I tap that all into my face to make it as one. They have to come together and join as one. It's a teamwork to look good, people, okay? A team effort from all of your makeup products put together. They're the Avengers all together. After that, I use the not the BH, what am I talking about? This is a Morphe 35B palette. Now, I have used this palette before. I have a tutorial on it that I'll have linked. But this is the orange shade that I'm using. When I first use it, I did use a different base. So using it now, it wasn't as orange as it was when I first used it, but again, that does have to do with the base that I used. So it did come off as a more peachier look, which I was totally fine with. I decided just to run with it. So because of that, I did take the lighter orange shade and I kind of put that in my crease to kind of buff it out. Again, just going with the peachy vibe that it came off as. And yeah, so I just put that in my crease and buff that out. And then I take that same orange shade and I run that under my lash line just to smoke it out. Of course, balance it from the top to the bottom, and also at the end of my eye, the corner, I do make sure that they kind of connect together as like one huge flow of shadow. And then I do take the same highlights that we use from the Anastasia palette and I put that in my inner corner and then also on my brow bone. And then I decide to put those two shades also on my eyelid. I just tap that on with my finger just because I felt like it needed some sparkle and shimmer to the look. So I did apply that, but if I'm honest, it wasn't enough sparkle and shimmer for me. So I did take the Wet n Wild liquid eyeshadows and I put that on my finger and I dabbed that on top. And this took it to a whole new level. This is what really made me fall in love with the look because it just, I don't know, I just felt like it brought the look together even more. And I just felt like it was so perfect for summer, you know? It was like vibrant and pretty and very summery. So I take a Wet n Wild Mega Lash lipstick and this is an orange shade and I kind of put that on the center of my lips. Then I use my finger to kind of dab it out a little bit, just to kind of like a popsicle look, you know? And then I was going to put this NYX lip gloss on top of it because I did want a glossier lip. But then I realized how pigmented it was going to be. And then I kind of very quickly changed my mind. So I took that off. And then I went in with a Wet n Wild lip gloss. These lip glosses are so amazing. They're so inexpensive and they're not sticky or goopy at all. So I definitely recommend these. But that is the completed look, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed. And I'm sorry, all I had was clips of me dancing at the end. Like I was supposed to be posing for video, but I wasn't. So please make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.